My wife and I have been living here in Torquay for about 7 years now, and when I first started to get involved in the church and I met Father, that's led to a conversation where he suggested perhaps I could give him a hand, along with a number of other people, in providing some advice to him. A number of challenges in front of him, particularly around the growth of our parish. So just to the north here of Torquay, incredible growth coming forward, both in Torquay itself and then Armstrong Creek and Warralilly. So the challenges are then, how does the parish respond to its growth, so particularly around education. So Father's offer was to come and assist him in providing some advice along with 4 other people, and so I got involved. I did say to him at the time that my advice will be purely commercial, because that's my background, my corporate background. If he's looking for some spiritual advice, he's looking in the wrong way. So, and other of my colleagues are far better placed to provide that sort of advice. So working with our team and the various pastoral councils and with their Catholic education, we have enormous challenges in putting in place a school program, building program that's going to support this growth. So today there are 2 schools, one in Grovedale and one here in Torquay. There is a second school in Torquay to open in 2018. So next year there will be something like 750 children at Catholic primary schools in our parish. There are a further 2 schools to open in the next couple of years, so a new one in Armstrong Creek by 2020, and then an additional one after that, and as well as that, a secondary school that will be opening also in the Warralilly Armstrong Creek area that will help support our growing community as well. So huge numbers. As I said today, there are around 10,000 nominated Catholics that live in our parish. If the percentages stay the same, you'd expect that to be around 20,000 in 20 years' time. But the proportion of younger people will be higher than what it is today because of the changing environment with younger families moving in.
Well, Michael and my husband and I moved here in 1982 with 2 children. He worked for the bank and didn't think we'd be here for very long, but it is now, how many years later, we're still within the parish. Our eldest son started at Nazareth in 1983 and we had 3 children go there, which is wonderful. I started working for the parish in 1992. I had volunteered on the liturgy committee prior to that. When I started work here, there was Father Greg Trifle, and there was 5 nuns. 2 of them were employed, 3 were retired here, but they actually worked within the parish. And then gradually the numbers dropped. We ended up with 2 and then 1, and about 7-8 years ago we no longer had nuns working. They had a great input into the parish, and unfortunately Father Lynn hasn't had the benefit of having nuns helping him with the pastoral side and all that sort of thing. We now have 4 grandchildren at Nazareth, the same place that our children went, and it's magnificent to see their workbooks, their religion that's coming through with their work at school and everything. And then work-wise, I started just making cups of tea, doing the bulletin, and it just progressed. Everything was virtually done by hand back then, but it's all progressed. Every year it seems something new pops up. So we just had a basic computer when I first started. We had been doing the newsletter on the Gazettener, so it was an electric typewriter. And so things have progressed, and the need to progress really is important, otherwise it makes things very hard. We've kept going through the programs the Archdiocese provide, and that helps, I think, if a changeover of staff, the background's there for training and so forth, if there's an issue.
One of the things I think that a parish understands is that we have to be a different church. And we can't rely on the old ways of doing things. So one of the things that we have started to use and want to begin to explore to use in a much greater sense is the advent of internet. So last November, at the beginning of Advent, we established a web page of our own. Unfortunately, at some stage in the last 12 months, it's had to have a complete revamp, so it hasn't progressed in a straight line. It's had a few ups and downs. However, we're back on track. One of the things that we really want that website to be able to do is to become an evangelical tool, the tool that invites people to come and be part of us. So we, in one sense, we wanted to create a sense of community. It's also going to be a form of information, of course, but it may also become a tool of formation for children, for adults, for the elderly, for whoever, a tool that will invite people to come and join us, invite people to connect with us, and most importantly along the way, as part of our baptismal calling, to be able to invite people to come and serve our community, serve our worship, serve our world. That's what we'd like it to become, but it's going to be a slow process. It's something that has to grow generically over time once people begin to understand what it's there for. And of course, in the long run, it would be really nice to be able to go to that Facebook page, but that's going to be, further down the track.
I think the task is not only the priest's tasks. I think it should be and it must be the tasks of everyone, of every Christian. Because I came from a background where, and all of us, I think, faith is very important to me, and I think for many of our people, faith is still very important. And trying to live the life of Jesus, trying to, the one who came to live our life and to walk our earth, and and invites us to be like him, to be like, to be in his shoe, because have a look at what he's done, and what we could do to respond to that. I think it is a great thing for me, and I think that's lead to the question why bother. And I think we do have a lot we do have something to offer, and this something is, I'd like to think it's lasting. It's it gives us that soul of the reason for being called to service. It's no longer ourselves, but I think we call for service and we serve one another, and that's what we're trying to do. What he did for the benefit, not only to our Catholic community, but for the benefit of the wider community and of the world as well. And I think, and that's why we keep doing what we're doing. For me personally, I think it at the end of it, it's something, it is worth doing, because it is something quite godly about it. It sounds pious, but I think it's worth doing. How to do it, the method, we're all struggling trying to find the right way to strike the right chord to our people in the hope that they respond. But the message, the core of it is there, that we need to do it, but how we do it, it's always a challenge, I think.
Very good.